I saw a video a little while ago, and it was a debate. It was a debate between a vegan proponent and a meat consumption proponent. Okay, so in this debate, V and M are discussing ethics, okay, so morality, vegan ethics, and also diet and nutrition and a whole bunch of other stuff. For the first big chunk of the debate, the discussion is centered primarily around ethics, okay? Moral implications of such and such, ethical debates, constantly using ethical standards and prior assumptions of the validity of some sort of ethical concept or construct in order to discuss things, okay? And the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to show you the importance of understanding principles and the importance of understanding the necessity of objective moral standards in debate. When we're trying to use logic and reason to hash out ideas and compare them and then see what works. And there are also catastrophic implications for when we abandon moral principle. So let me paint the picture. Debate starts and they're going on and on about different ethical problems, okay? So eventually they get to a part of the debate where, and what I'll do is I'll read a little excerpt from the debate so that you can hear what they said, and then we'll chat about it. Okay, so this is what was said. Oh, one thing I do want to add is that the vegan debater definitely came out on top. The opposition didn't really have any actual defense against the challenges that the vegan debater was making. And yeah, by the end of the video, it was very clear that Meaty had no substance, really nothing to defend his position with. And so yeah, it was a complete runaway victory for the vegan debater. But as V is going through the debate and challenging M, and M is having trouble answering the questions, it goes on and on and on and on. And then we finally get to a part in the debate where you're going to hear this. Okay, Meaty says, I understand that, I totally follow, and I just want to clarify again that my position isn't that of every typical person that does eat meat, because I do think ethics, the problem with ethics is that it's very subjective. I don't think there's any definitive way to decline. Okay, and then V interrupts him and says, yeah, it is. That throws M off, and M says, sorry, what do you mean? And then our veggie debater says, yeah, ethics are subjective, and agrees that ethics are subjective. And then it continues. I agree with you, yeah, and so I think this is Meaty talking now, and I think it's because it varies from person to person. It varies from person to person. For me, a good example is that I don't like the fact that people in certain countries eat dogs, but okay, blah, 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 on and it goes. The point is, both of them have just conceded that ethics are subjective, okay? Now, here's the thing with these debates, guys. The very second that you concede that your position, your belief is that ethics are subjective, you have lost the debate. So it's a long debate, so like 2 hours or so, and I don't know exactly. A good hour maybe is dedicated to just ethics, maybe more. And that whole section of the debate is gone. It's garbage. It's useless. They may as well, both of them may as well, once they exchange that information, they're like, oh, ethics is subjective? Yeah, it's subjective. Like, oh, all right. You just got up and left. There is no more debate. The debate is finished. They have, no, neither side has lost. There's no winner. There's no winner. There's no loser. It's just that you seal the deal on the finality that the debate cannot continue. Why? Because any discussion about ethics, morality, what you should or shouldn't do is all contingent on some intellectual construct. Anytime we're passing judgment on something to determine whether it is a correct action or behavior or whatnot, what we are doing is we are intellectually reaching into some conceptual world and finding recourse to use some sort of logical standard upon which we throw the concepts so that this standard is able to inform us whether the behavior aligns with what the standard deems as correct or not correct. Now, if you abandon the existence of this standard, you cannot any longer have a debate. There is nothing to debate, because if everything is subjective, then there is no such thing as you should do this, you shouldn't do that. The very purpose of what are we debating about? There is no debate. If one person says one position is correct, then he's correct. And if the other person says the completely opposite type of position is correct, they are also correct, because the structure of the universe is completely subjective. Therefore, correctness is a concept that doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, there is no debate. Okay, do you guys understand? Let's see the implications of this by just using a couple other examples of things that were said in the first chunk of this debate, where we haven't gotten to that part where that quote was mentioned, but they are making a previous assumption of the existence of some ethical standard. With this prior to mentioning that they say they don't believe in moral standards, ethical standards that transcend our subjectivity. So what you'll see is that they are behaving and conversing and debating as if that standard exists. But then you get to a point where they say that they admit that they don't believe in ethics as an objective thing, which is a problem, because you just spent an hour of debate time assuming that that standard existed and utilizing that standard in order to have what we call a debate on ethics. So you just spent all this time using that thing and then later on deny its existence. Okay? Which means that the entire thing is useless. It's done. Let's see the implications of believing that ethics is subjective by going through some quotes that were mentioned in the debate. I'll just fire them off really quickly. Okay, here we go. At one point they say, the position of veganism as I defined, it doesn't even matter. It makes no difference who's speaking, one side or the other. It makes no difference. The position in veganism as I defined it is a philosophical belief and ethical practice. Let's stop right there. Ethical practice? What does that mean? If in reality there is no subjective ethics, then an ethical practice, it doesn't make sense, because there is no ethics. Anybody can make up anything, any behavior whatsoever, and it is correct, quote unquote correct, because there's no standard. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is there are problems. When you don't understand principles and laws, you run into severe problems. Okay, so let's continue. So veganism, philosophical belief and ethical practice and lifestyle practice in which we grant human rights to animals. Let's stop right there. Human rights to animals. What is a right? It's baked into the very word itself. Right, meaning correct. There are no rights. There's no such thing as rights. I can steal as much as I want, and if I say that that's correct, it's correct. And anybody who disagrees with me would just be arbitrarily disagreeing, and they would be incorrect for disagreeing because I'm just as right as they are. Okay, you have to abandon the way that God has designed you to naturally and intuitively think and react and feel about your relationship to the world. All of that innate programming, how your conscious mind is designed, all of that you have to throw away. Okay, and then he goes on, if we were to grant the rights, some rights to chickens and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the definition makes no sense if ethics are subjective. No sense at all. Here's a quote from the meaty side. Even if they commit a crime. What's crime? How do you define crime? You can't define crime. You cannot define crime because crime doesn't exist in a world where there are subjective ethics. There is only the correctness. Excuse my limitation of the English language here. There's only the correctness of one person's behavior and the correctness of another person's behavior. There is no standard. Therefore, rightness, wrongness, correctness is a meaningless concept. It is very difficult for you to imagine a situation where you don't use this standard. It's very difficult. And nobody actually behaves as if it doesn't exist, even if they say they don't believe in that standard. Here's another quote. Death penalty. Stop right there. Penalty. What is this? What is this concept of penalty? Penalize for what? Did you do anything wrong? Did you do something that you weren't supposed to? That's a meaningless concept now, because you would only penalize someone for doing something wrong. So if you did something that you were completely correct about because ethics are subjective, then nobody out there in the world has any right to tell you that you deserve a penalty. The concept of penalty is meaningless. So you see, in just the general language that we use to convey ideas back and forth to one another, you by default, even like unconsciously, having no idea that you are reaching for some actual standard in thinking, okay? Some actual structural standard that unifies the human experience. You don't realize you're using that because nobody taught you that that's what you're doing, but you are. And to deny this is a fundamental problem that has characterized all the problems of humanity since time immemorial. I'm going to paraphrase this next one. Would it be okay if offering mentally disabled people up on a pyre, a burning pyre, in order to turn them into hamburgers? What would you think about that? How would you feel about that? This is me prompting that question to the other debater. The answer to that question is, how would you feel about that? The answer is, who cares? Because it doesn't matter what the response is. It's equally correct. And anything that you would have disagreement over in terms of that answer would be a fault of the disagreeer. They would have no basis, no right, no valid charge to make against the person who answers, yes, I'd be happy to cook people up and use them as hamburgers. Meat Debater says, if I'm going to kill a person, then they should go to prison and have their rights taken away. Excuse me? Rights taken away? What on earth does that mean? You claimed that ethics are subjective, and therefore, nobody has any rights which one could possibly take away. That crazy person that Meat Team is describing here, that crazy person, that psycho who goes around doing psychotic things that are, and here's another thing. I can't even be a human being and convey ideas to you because your mind is structured in only one way. It is to reflect higher godly principles. You don't have any choice. What I was going to say is that crazy person who does behaviors that are not conducive to the betterment of the tribe or community. But you see, in trying to describe that, there's no such thing. If the world were actually a subjective, ethical whatever, then who's to say that perpetuating the existence of the tribe is something good or worth doing or worth striving for? That would be a meaningless concept, because destruction of the tribe would have an equally just reason for being the default position that a community could accept. One person says, yeah, perpetuation of the race, teaching the children is something that you should not do. We should all just, I don't know, inject ourselves with gasoline and set fire to our brains. Like whatever. That's perfectly correct. And if anybody has a problem with that, they are wrong for judging that, because you can't judge. The word judge, here we go. I can't help it. What does the word judge mean? There is nothing to judge. It's just this vast ocean of behaviors careening here and crashing on each other there, having no rhyme or reason, no value, no structure, nothing. Everything just as chaotic as the next. Everything just as quote unquote correct as the next. Meaningless. Nothing. You would have no conception of this. So that psychotic person, you can't take their rights away because they don't have them to begin with. You don't have any authority to give them or to tell someone that they are now deprived of those things. And if you tried to do that in this world of subjective ethics, you, the enforcer of the rules, would be incorrect, because rules themselves, the concept of rules is to uphold some sort of correctness, all right? But if correctness is a concept that doesn't exist in our minds, okay, I'm going to stop there. You can see the immense problems in the implications of a world that were actually run the way some people say they believe it's run, with subjective ethics. And if that's a position that you adopt, your mind is not oriented on the reality in which you live. And you have no ability to make sense of the human experience unless you use those standards every single day. There are other problems. So, so completely different debate now. Completely different. I'm just going to use another example to outline the problems of losing principle. So, a very, very, very popular vegan activist who does debates all the time, very, very popular. And in one of the debates that I was watching, the person that this vegan activist was debating threw him back a question about veganism. And the vegan activist had no ability to give him the right answer because he wasn't aware of principle. The opposition asked him a very basic question. I think he said, well, aren't human beings omnivores? Like, what if we're not omnivores, what are we? That's the question that he asked him. And the vegan activist, you could see it took him a second. He was a bit stumped. He didn't know what to answer. And it was like really the one point in the debate where you could see that he was off-put, because he didn't understand that there was a principle, right? There was a principle that allows you the confidence of being sure-footed, and he didn't have that. And so it was very clear in whatever the response was, just a vague kind of jumble of things, and he couldn't actually answer the question. And so anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. The point is, it is so critically important that you understand principles of reality. All right, objective principles of reality, because if you don't, you will be lost on a vast, raging ocean of belligerent, contentious ideas and concepts and philosophies, all warring with one another, with no rhyme or reason. And in the sailboat that you're using to navigate these vast, raging oceans, you are just getting tossed to and fro, not knowing where to give your energies or where to take them. The human experience will be meaningless. For people out there, when you are having debates and you make the critical error of surrendering this position, you have lost the debate. You have surrendered your right to participate in any type of you should do this, you should do that, what is correct, what is it. You've surrendered your right to pass any judgment on any concepts like that. You would have to get up and leave the building. All right? So it's very important that we understand this. And I hope that I was at least somewhat clear in demonstrating that for you. I might not have been, and people might still have these ideas that they can get away with believing that ethics are subjective. So, but, planting seeds out there for consideration, hopefully you understand. And maybe that makes a difference for some people out there.
We're going to be talking about really the fundamental thing that is causing the loss of human freedom. And as sad as it is to make this statement, here's as simple as it gets. Human freedom is being destroyed and lost at the rate that it is being destroyed and lost at for one basic overarching reason. Human beings, unfortunately, have come to a point in their consciousness where most of them no longer know the difference between right and wrong. That's it, folks. That's it. If you want to know why the events that are happening, that is the causal factor right there. They do not know, not believe or think or just have an opinion about. They do not definitively know the difference between right
Yeah, I mean, you got a fat bankroll in your pocket.
Huh? Huh? Hey! Hmm? Huh?
Yeah. Yo. Hey, yo. Yo, what? Yo, what's up? What's up, dog? Yo. Hey, yo. 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 Yo, nah. Hey, yo.
Huh?
Sig.
I got visual. Standing by.
Let's go.
Huh?
Yeah.
it started. Yeah, I got the light. He got the light. We shine it all the way. We got the light. What you know about it? So much light. More light than a spike in your power bill. Or a match when it strike, we devour ill. They don't know how to feel. Their minds crippled mental gangbangers. Never saw losers, but we game changers.
What's up, dog?
Rearrange strangers with the Rick's next mission. Bring the light to your home, electrician. I've been grinding since the basement. If you know, you know, man, you not adjacent. I'm in a league of my own. My soul speaking through bronze. Both your speakers are blown for my songs. Let's get it on. I'm ready for the challenge. The Academy of Dark and Light is all about balance. Life's never perfect. Beauty runs deeper than the surface. Album won't sell, but the soul not for purchase. Birth this ill style with mild symptoms against them ecstatic. I'm a shock to the system. Warrior, battle scarred, yet these bars hard. Thus became an author, not the art bar.
Oh, hey!
It's the hard part. We started the lost art. Can make a smash from the mouth. I'm an all-star. Sacrifice the tickets to the afterlife. Mission isn't done on earth. Alert the churches versus fuel my appetite. I have the right of sight. Moral needs the facts of life. Healthy as an apple slice. This what real rappers like. International. Took a vacation. Still working on my sabbatical. Casual but tactical. I'm more than a chess piece. Pawn starve in a bargain for scraps while the rest eat. Left me to fend for myself, and I conquered where the wild things are with the monsters. As the earth keeps turning, lies keep turning, eyes seek burning. Fire desire with quiet, I'm blessed as 3 sermons. Speaking that breeze,
Yeah.
the feet burning. Billy Jean, you can see that light every step that I take. Walk with a glow kept to my faith. Like this, like switch, like this, right this, like this, like switch, like this, right this. Hit the light switch if you need a light switch, like this, right quick for the night shift. I got the light, we got the light. Shine on, young king, with the
Yeah.
gleam of a colorful dreamer. Clean by the redeemer, wings of radiant demeanor, beams of light. I know you've seen us. Shine bright through the zeitgeist. Baking on jewels, hit a nice heist. Drop a few gems, then ignite my
Hey, yo.
land of the free, but it comes with a slight price. You are not nice. Rappers want to battle, not a sweat. Quiet is kept like Naruto's wife.
Yo!
Young bang in the place. Masses, brains all trash. Your mind is a terrible thing to waste. Darkness embrace like a flame. But I light never will be dim. Better grab a pair of shades. But shine all in your face. I got the light. He got the light. Switch. Can't stop shining, fam. It's what we do. Paint the sky blue. Steady shotgun. What? They talk about
Let pop with
What's up, dog? Yo, what's up? Yo. Yo. Nah. Mm. Let's go.
Let me see you shake that ass, 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 ass. Let me see you shake that ass, 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 ass. Ass, 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 ass.
What's up?
Let me see. Ass, 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 ass. Shake it, shake it, mama. Shake it for me. Let me see with that ass, 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 ass. Look at you, look at the best. Ooh, let me know what ass, 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 ass. I can make you shake if you want to make too. I can make you new. Ass, 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 ass. It's so rare. Think that vibrates. It's ass, 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 ass. Easy. Get your breast in that ass, 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 ass. Baby, you would know. Baby, the rest of me is the ass, ass, ass. Rocking right to bed. What you have is some ass, 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 ass. Don't get me wrong, I think you're type of class. Feeling that ass, 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 ass. Let me get you hype, make you hype, make red, make you wet. Ass, 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 ass. Take it to the end, we're all okay. This is for the big body. Ass, 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 ass. Ooh, baby, let me get it. Let me get your breast in that ass, 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 ass. And when we do get it on, baby, you would know. Let me see with me, baby, the rest of me is the ass, ass, ass. Baby, let me nice. Get your breast in that ass, 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 ass. And when we do get it on, baby, you would know. Let me see with me, baby, the rest of me is the ass, ass, ass.
Operate.
You ready? So, what's up?